everyone, it's Christine. Today we're going to be working kind of backwards from what I normally do. Normally I come on camera and I have all of my base finished and we go right into an eye look. And we're going to do the opposite today. We're going to talk more about what I use for my base of my makeup look and even the eyebrows, which I normally do off camera because it takes me a while, so this might be a long one. If you're new here, welcome. And please stick around, subscribe, maybe even ring that bell, and you'll be notified anytime I upload a video, which hopefully will be a couple of times a week. Okay, got all that business out of the way. Let's get started with the face. So, all I have applied so far are my skincare, which is a whole nother video with many steps. So we're gonna start at the primer stage because I have also applied my sunscreen, and I'm working through several face sunscreens right now, and this one just happens to be from Bare Republic. It is their mineral sunscreen lotion. It does kind of give a bit of a glow, and it is a tiny bit tinted but really gives no coverage at all. It's very, very liquidy, and you can see it's got a bit of a tint to it, but not much. It's very silky feeling on the skin. It's nice. Got it at Walmart. So far, I like it. It has an SPF of 30. So that's what's on the face. I also applied a lip balm. My favorite ones right now are the Neutrogena Moisture Shine Lip Soothers, and this one is in the shade, or they don't really have much of a color to them, but it's Gleam, and it comes in a little tubey. Love it. It has kind of a minty feel, and it tastes like watermelon, so I like it. It's very nourishing, nice and hydrating. That's what I want. I have very dry skin normally, so some of the products that I use to kind of battle that dry skin is the Hard Candy Sheer Envy, and it says coconut water primer stick, but I don't really use it much as a primer. I more use it in my really, really dry spots. So it's kind of a stick, and it's a little bit of a bluish color, and I apply it in my most dry areas, which is usually around my nose. So I'll just swipe a little bit on before I even put on my primer, and I let that sink in along with the sunscreen before I go in with my primer, and it does help a lot. I really like it. It feels very hydrating and very cooling on the skin. So for primer today, I will be using two different ones. One is a hydrating primer. This one's from Wet n Wild. It is their water drop primer. I was just very intrigued by it because I didn't know what a water drop primer is. It's green. Walk my face out a little bit. It is green. It's a little bit runny. I just kind of dot it all over the face usually. And it smells like fresh cucumber. They also had a rose one. Very affordable, as are all of Wet n Wild's products. I put that all over, and it makes my skin feel very soft, and it smells delicious, and I feel hydrated and plumped up. So I've only been using that for about a week, but I really do like it. And then I usually go in with some kind of pore filling primer in my T-zone. I have several that I'm using. Today we're going to be using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer that everybody went crazy for a while back. Many influencers say that it's a dupe for the Tatcha Silk Canvas. I wouldn't know. I don't own the Tatcha Silk Canvas, but it's very soft. I like the feel of it on the skin. You really don't need much. So I've had this primer since it came out, I'm pretty sure, and I've still got, there's a tiny little dip in there, but it's almost a full package still. So I put that mostly in my T-zone. That's where I get the most shiny, and also where I have the largest pores. So I get my chin, nose, forehead. To me, it has no scent. I don't smell anything at all. So then next, I would let that sit for a couple of minutes, maybe a couple of seconds, I'm sorry, not really minutes. We would be here all day. And then we're gonna go into the foundation, and today I'm going to be using Tarte Foundcealer My shade is 16N. I love this little bottle. It is plastic, but it looks like glass. It looks like frosted glass. The top just turns up, and I'll put a pump on the back of my hand. Oh, that one didn't even come out a full pump, so. I like this bottle because you can see how much is left in it. It's pushing the foundation up from the bottom, and you can see when you're getting low. And this is a foundation that I would definitely purchase again. I've been using it for probably going on a month and a half, 2 months now, off and on. I have a lot of foundations, so I don't always use the same one. I'm going to be using their brush that came with the Foundcealer release. So this is their Tarte Foundcealer brush. It's very dense, very soft. I like the way it feels. I think it blends out this particular product really nicely. I can't say that I've used it with any other foundations. If you don't know much about this foundation, it is supposed to be used, or can be used, I'm sorry, as a foundation and a concealer, hence the name. For me, it is medium coverage, but buildable. So you can still see right now a lot of my scarring and dark spots. So I would go in with another pump all over the face, and especially in my trouble areas like my cheeks. And any place I have some dark spots. My cheeks tend to get very red, so I like applying it on the cheek, and then I always pick up what's left on the back of my hand with my brush. I don't like to waste expensive, and to me this was it was pricey. It was in the 30s, I believe. I did have points at Ulta that I used towards it, but still, I would repurchase it because I love the way this foundation wears on my skin. It lasts a long time. It doesn't look cakey. It looks very natural, but you can see with the second layer that it is starting to cover up more of the darkness and the dark spots that I want covered without looking cakey or streaky. It just has a really nice, I would say, satin finish. And again, my skin type is mostly dry. I haven't been oily for a long time. I get very dry under my eyes, and I get dry around my nose. This one wears nicely too. I have a terrible habit of touching my face a lot, especially my chin and my nose, and this one seems to wear off in a more natural looking way rather than having streaks or spots where there's no foundation. All right, for my spot concealing, I use the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer. I just really like the way that this concealer covers up little dark spots and blemishes. It does a fantastic job, and it's inexpensive. I guess I kind of tend to save the more expensive or higher end concealers for under the eye. This one, I don't worry about it so much, because if it's just covering up areas of darkness or blemishes on my skin, it doesn't necessarily have to, I don't worry about it looking crepey or strange like it might under the eyes. So I don't know that I've tried this under my eyes, but just using it on the face, I can tell you that I don't think I would like the way that it looks under my eyes, my more mature under eyes. So one that I found very recently is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion concealer. This one I love for under the eyes. It's very liquidy. It has a very flat kind of tilted wand on it, and I like the shade. It's not too bright, but it is lighter than my foundation. I don't use a lot. I found if I use a lot, I like it less. So I use minimal amount of this concealer. I don't find that it settles into my fine lines under my eyes. It actually makes my under eyes look better, nicer, smoother. For my base, I have a lot of products that I use that are my, go-to products unless I'm trying something brand new. That's why I don't do many of the base videos, because I use a lot of the same products. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's how I feel about the face products. I do change it up a little bit in the wintertime because my skin changes slightly. It gets even drier. Lucky me. Foundation off the lips. And then I will apply some more of my lip balm. I've already used a sugar scrub on my lips today. I do that as part of my skincare routine. You're going to be extremely shocked at this next product because, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this a zillion times, but it's the e.l.f. HD Under Eye Setting Powder. My holy grail product that I use pretty much every time I do my base. Love it. It does mattify a tiny bit without sucking every bit of life and moisture that I have under my eyes out. Again, always make sure that you press out any creases before you set, or you'll be setting the creases. I don't think that's what we're going for. I then usually add just a tiny bit to my T-zone, my chin, the places where I tend to touch my face a lot. But I have been very, very stingy with powder on my face because, like I said, I'm already really dry, so that's all the setting that I'm going to do for my face right now. Normally, I would go in next and do the brows, but I think we're going to continue on with the powder products instead and start with our contour. The contour is from the e.l.f. Contour Palette, and this brush is from TJ Maxx. It says Risque Beauty on it. It's my favorite contour brush. I like the size of it. It fits perfectly into that little pocket on my cheek. I do find though that this needs washed quite a bit. This is the area where if I don't wash my brush about every third time I use it, which I do have other brushes, but this one is my favorite, I will start to break out in that exact area. Anywhere where I applied powder with this brush, I will start getting a breakout, and I do not like that. So under the chin, little chin contour. We're not carving out my face or anything, but I do like a little bit of contour, and then also around my hairline. I was so excited the other day. I was watching one of Emily Noel's videos. If you have not, if you don't know who I'm talking about, look her up on YouTube and Instagram. I believe it's under Emily Noel. She's fantastic. I love watching her videos. We were wearing the same headband and I geeked out over it because I've been watching her videos for a long time and I just got really excited. Alright, so next warm up the face a little bit with my Yummy and Delicious Butter Bronzer, and this one is in just bronzer. Have light bronzer, bronzer, deep, and sculpting. In the winter time, the light bronzer and this one are the two that I gravitate towards. In the summertime, depending on how tan I am, I will use the deep and the sculpting too. They are all beautiful, beautiful bronzers. Physicians Formula has beautiful powders. They are a little more pricey at the drugstore than other brands, but the bronzer is well worth it. Like, I love it. It's a favorite of a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people on YouTube using the same bronzer, so it's popular. Next, I picked up this blush not too long ago, and I absolutely love the color of it. It's called Rendezvous. It's by Rimmel. It's one of their maxi blushes, and look at that color. Isn't it gorgeous? It's like a deep mauve-y, almost plum. Take a little bit on my BH Cosmetics 125. BH Cosmetics has some nice brushes as well. And apple of the cheek, and then I kind of bring it back. I love blush, and this one is a really pretty matte blush. I do like a glowy blush as well, but I just thought I'd switch it up today. I've been using quite a few glowy blushes. The new ones that came out from L'Oreal are gorgeous. I think they only have 2 shades. One is more pink and the other is more of a peachy shade or a coral shade. I like them both equally. Picked this baby up at Walmart yesterday. It is by Hard Candy, and Hard Candy makes some very beautiful highlighters. They have a lot of cool products, so you should check them out sometime. But this one is their Just Glow, and the shade is 24 karat gold, but it has 3 different shades in there. There's a pinky shade, there's a gold shade, and then a very white shade on the end. That white shade would make a stunning inner corner. I'm going to try and just take one of my smaller brushes. This is a BH Cosmetics 101, and I'm going to dip into the kind of pinkier gold one over here on the side. I've never touched this. I've had lots of Hard Candy highlighters, but I have not tried this one yet. So we're going to go in really light to start, see how it goes. It's very pigmented. It might be a little too dark for my skin tone. I don't like seeing that line when you look to the side, but we'll take our sponge and kind of try to blend that into the skin a little more. It's got a pretty glow though. Just probably less is more with that one. Let's see, take the same sponge. This is the Wet n Wild sponge. We'll just dab that a little bit. It's not as blinding as I expected it to be. The way it looks in the pan, it would be very, very bright, but it's still very pretty. I look very flushed in the monitor. In real life, there we go. In the monitor, it doesn't look that bright. In the mirror, it doesn't look that bright, but in the monitor, my cheeks look like. We're just gonna go with it for now, okay? So that is all of the powder products on the face, and I like the way things are going so far. That foundation, like I said, every foundation I wear tends to build up a little bit right here around my nose. I hate that. I'm not sure what to do about it, but that's not unusual for a foundation to kind of settle right around my nose. Like I said, dry skin around my nose is an extreme problem for me. It just keeps peeling and flaking. I'm not sure if any of you have any suggestions for that. Maybe I'm over exfoliating. I'm not sure, but definitely it seems to be constantly peeling around my nose. So then I would take a primer water or a setting spray, something to kind of melt all of those nice powders into the face. And I think we're gonna stick with the cucumber theme from Wet n Wild and get their primer water, which is stuck. Can't get it out of my basket. Okay, their cucumber 3-in-1 primer water. I really enjoy these little bottles. They're very inexpensive. My only real critique about them is that they need to work on the mister. The mister is a little aggressive, and I prefer something that's a little lighter of a mist. It really does kind of spray, get you right there. But take my little fan, dry that up for a few seconds, and then we'll move on to brows. And hopefully my brows won't take me a million years, but talking to Editor Rex here, he can always fast forward so that everybody doesn't get bored out of their skulls watching me do my eyebrows. So I usually go in and fluff them up with a nice spoolie, and this one is my favorite. This was from a e.l.f. collection this winter. It was right around Christmas time. It has glitter in the handle. It's really pretty, but this spoolie on this is my favorite. And I never knew there was a difference between spoolies, but I can tell you I've got probably 10 spoolies, and this is the one that I grab for every single time. So what I usually do with my brows is to go in first with some kind of brow mascara, and usually a tinted one. This one I got in one of my subscription boxes. It's from the Brow Gal, and it's in brown, just says brown, tinted brow gel with microfibers. So I take one of these. I have a really nice one. The one from Benefit is really nice as well. And I have several colors. I've got one from, I want to say it's Rimmel too. This one has the best applicator in my opinion. I like this teensy weensy tiny little wand. It's so cool. Some of the other ones have these giant wands, and it just gets so much product on it that it goops up, and then I end up having to wash some of it off. And I try scraping it on the side of the container, and that doesn't really work. Also, I do like the color of this one. I tend to go for a little bit of a darker brow usually than my natural color. Sometimes I think that I can't see my eyebrows very well because they're very, very blonde, so I like to darken them up a little bit. But say, where is the one that I had with the really big wand on it? This one. I love the color of it and everything, but look at the size of this wand. This is the Rimmel one. It's huge. It's like the size of a mascara wand. What are you doing? Who has brows that big? And it just kind of slops it on there. I'm not a fan. I was actually hoping that the top for that other one would fit on here, but this one's bigger around and it can't switch it over. So I really like the wand on that one. And then I will go in with a pencil usually, and my favorite right now is the Maybelline Brow Precise Micro Crayon, it says. Very teeny weeny tiny tip on it. I don't like the spoolie. Do you see how tiny that is? I do use it while I'm using this, but it's not the one I would finish with or start with. It's just too small. I don't like it. So I'll start at the bottom and kind of make some hair-like strokes through the brows, really just filling in the spaces where I have less brow hairs. And then I like to make a nice point on the end. I don't really like a blocky brow. I like a more natural look. It's just that from over plucking as a child, my brows are not as bushy as I wish they were. So I do like to give myself a little bit more of an arch, a little stronger of an arch, and then I like to draw in the tail end. And really that's it. That went faster than I thought it would. Just making some hair-like strokes, filling in anywhere where I think it looks a little sparse. My eyebrows are getting better. I am using a serum as part of my nightly routine, and I've been very diligent with it. This brow is kind of the same thing. I just try to get a little bit higher of an arch. I do like an arched eyebrow on myself. And then I like to define the tip a little more. Sometimes I have to go in when I'm all finished and help out that tail. Sometimes it gets lost and budged around while I'm doing my eye look, but for the most part, that is all the filling in I do. Then I take my favorite spoolie and I just kind of brush it out a little bit. Make sure we're getting all that product dispersed. I want big bushy eyebrows. My one daughter, well, they both have beautiful eyebrows, but my older daughter, she has black hair and she has the most gorgeous eyelashes and eyebrows. They're so beautiful. My last step in my brow routine would be to go in with the glue that holds all of this together. My very, very favorite brow gel from Koki Cosmetics that I can't find in stores anywhere anymore. I don't know what's going on, but I had to order it online. This one looks gross because it's almost gone and it's got some of the brown from the... Anyway, it works for me beautifully. Once this is in, my brows are going nowhere. Does it make my brows kind of crunchy? Yes, it does, but I like it. Some people do not care for that at all. It does dry down, and it does dry down and make them a little bit crunchy. For me, that's how I know it's not going to move anywhere. I like it. And I do like the clear. I have tried the tinted ones from them, and it's not the same. It doesn't seem to work the same as the clear one. I don't know why. I'm not a makeup developer, but I just know when I tried it, it didn't feel the same, and I didn't love it. So that went by really quick. Can't say I'm sorry about that. Sometimes my brows do not cooperate and it takes me forever. But that is my base makeup. Depending on how bad the only thing that I kind of skipped today was a corrector. And sometimes if my under eyes are really, really dark, or if I know I'm using a purple or a blue eyeshadow, I make sure to go in with a corrector. And my favorite is the NYX Dark Circle Concealer. This one is, I've already hit the bottom and I have a backup of it. But this color, the shade is just as fair. It's a really nice match for me. It's got, ooh, almost dropped it. It has a hint of salmon peachy color that cancels out the blue really, really well. I did not do that today, but I think that my under eyes look really nice. I think that the Foundcealer is beautiful. I love it. I'm impressed with the new highlighter that I bought, like I said. I think that the white color is going to make a beautiful inner corner highlight. The gold, possibly too dark for me, but I can always use it on the body. And I used the pinky gold today, and it might be a tiny bit too dark for me, but I think we made it work. So that was the only other new kind of a product. The rest is my tried and true things I use all of the time. So I hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit about my base makeup. I know it wasn't fascinating, it's not really groundbreaking, but this is what I do on an everyday kind of basis. And then I go in and do my eye look. So that's what I'm going to do next. Stay tuned and I'll come back and you can see the finished look. Okay, we've got our finished look. Eyes are on, I did the lips. If you're curious what I used, then go ahead down and look in the description box because it'll be listed there. It will more than likely also be listed on Instagram because I do stuff over there and you should go over there and check that out. It is Christine_Elaine72. Check it out, follow me, that would be awesome. I'm at like 570 and sitting there, it's not going anywhere, so I would appreciate it. Please, just go, do that. It'll only take a second. Okay, so again, products will be listed down below. One that I do want to mention, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in a video before, but I've really been enjoying this setting spray that I got in one of my subscription boxes. It is by Kula. It has an SPF in it. It does smell a little bit of SPF, but it is so refreshing, and the bottle is gorgeous. It is a frosted blue glass bottle, and it has these little beads in it that make noise when you shake. So you're supposed to shake it before you use it. I do notice that it has been making my foundation and all of my base products last longer, so it gets a thumbs up from me. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope it was useful, helpful, enjoyable, all of those things. And I hope that you are safe and happy wherever you are today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, and goodbye.